Let us begin. I think I might have added a bit too many. No, that's fine. How you doing? I am doing all right. Thank you. Just a small little testing stream before I start the day. Get a chance to draw some stuff. I haven't. Okay, I kind of been slacking on the art streams over the past couple weeks. So having a small, a shorter one, get back into the swing of things, helps quite a bit. Now, as you can see, I have kind of done quite a bit off stream, in fact. But we are at least going to attempt to do a little bit on stream. This is the blue lines panel. Okay. Always start with the blue lines. I'm gonna get all my reference images in a row. Okay, so that needs to be. We'll basically just go in a panel order, really. Now I need to know, how do I want to translate this? Nope. Where does her head begin? Only her head goes all the way. The top of her head is hidden by the speech bubble. I could lower it, but side of the head goes about here to just about here. Of course, that's just the hair. This is just to get this. Well, okay. Ishizu does have hair, and we do see the hair. I guess I can go with. Okay, the blue lines are not going to be fully accurate in the first place. And I can always add some. Bit too steep. There we go. I might need to make the head bigger, actually. Or taller is a bit more accurate. Because from the reference image I'm using, her shoulders are about right there. So going to... I guess it doesn't have to be one-to-one as well. There are plenty of these memes that are not one-to-one. Yeah, that also does not look right. I would need to make the head wider as well. Or just keep it the same. And just include more of the torso. There we go. That's a little bit better. Then, what is Ishizu's actual... It's kind of like that. I can absolutely take some artistic liberties with this, though. Do I want to make the... I could stand to make the shoulders a bit less wide. Let's do a little bit of that. That's about correct. And then, what does her hair actually look like? Shizu. And most people tend to use her with the veil. Kind of. The problem is the veil, I think, gets in the way of the shoulders. But that's like nothing. But I also wonder how many people would actually actively recognize Ishizu without the veil. So you know what? We'll keep it at that. Oops. So that we... Flat eyes, just to get a general place of where I want them to be. Yes, maybe a little bit lower. Ever so slightly lower. And then go... in the original artwork for Chainsaw Man, the mouth does look a little bit weird. I might. Also, the nose is different compared to Ishizu, so let's change that a little bit. He looks like a jack-o'-lantern. Like, yeah, the nothing is set in stone yet, but it just looks like a jack-o'-lantern. Okay, then the headpiece and that part of the veil. I'll add. Let's make them. Let's put that to half opacity for now, actually. Right, Millennium Eye, more or less. It is a little bit bigger, and I'll probably end up making it a little bit bigger in the final version. There's also that. Oops. Then veil just kind of comes out from the rest of it. All the way to about there. Honestly, this just curves up, goes out here. There we go. And then basically the same over here. Go like that. That needs to be a little bit deeper. Half up. There we go. Let's put it right about there. Get rid of some of this extra scrum. Then more or less like that. I might as well add a little bit of detail to the eyes just to have it. I may need like eyebrows or something to kind of give a little bit of, make it a little bit softer. And then, oops. The original has teeth. Kind of gets translated there. Okay. Next, the little sketch of probably just do. Oh. How does it braid? The braid goes behind her head. Okay. This is a bit better. Then does it just go? It more or less like goes into like a diamond shape, a bit closer to her neck. Like that. I guess we can see that. So let's go about there. And that is mostly hidden by the veil. Necklace. Same Millennium eye shape. Just go like that. Then a couple of, how do I translate that? They don't go behind the necklace, do they? No, they're like to the sides of it. So be then it's just simple string. Yeah, simple string around the neck. Her actual clothes a little ways down. That'll work. This part is relatively simple. It's just this middle part here that I need to... How long? Not long. It'd be... about from the edge of the millennium. Maybe like from there to there, actually. Spunk. Hey, Chroma. I did indeed. I've done, while I was sick, I didn't really have anything else to do. So I was like, why not? And you'll see another, at least I'm trying to work on another kind of character update. I still need to figure out how it works. I have no idea how to use, like, live 2D cubism. That's not exactly how it goes. There are more spears. And then the diamonds. This is... How are you doing today, Chroma, by the way? I haven't asked that yet. Someone know how to use live 2D? Oh. Nice. I still... On one hand, I want to figure out how to use it on my own. On the other hand, I don't know enough about the technology. I would probably really need to just... I would really need to just get a... like, watch a video tutorial. I'm just really bad at it. Fair. Oops. I actually do need the arms to be a bit more visible, don't I? We don't really see anything below the waist or hips. I've been fine. Happy the last Draco Tail fusion is only an R, which is... That's nice. Basically means I don't need to craft it. Compared to all the other stuff I would need to craft. I think that's really all the detail I need for now. Glass canine as you are, which is unfortunate. And most of Rescue Ace is expensive. Well, okay. Rescue Ace was expensive to begin with. So I'm not surprised that the Link 4 reoccurs the UR. Next is you. How do you... There's a decent chunk of space. The problem is going to be... everything else. Good. They've also in the link to Fire Girl, kind of Flame Tongue, but better on my own. It's only an SR. Yeah. Oh, this is... Well, okay. I can afford for this part to be bad. This is just such an awkward angle. I don't really know how to do this. Especially with such basic shapes. 200 more years of Snake Eye Rescue Ace. Oh yeah, and OSS came back. Which, sure. Like Snake Eyes is not unlimited copies of OSS. Yep. Like Snake Eyes, I don't think is fantastic anymore. Like especially compared to Snake Eyes is still good, but it's not the tier 0 threat that it once was. I might need to move this forward a little bit. Maybe down. It can be out branded pretty well in the grind game. Perhaps. Oh yeah, I definitely need to move this down or make it bigger, because that's quite a bit of space. The problem is I want to know how to draw this perspective. With the new rescue support, I expected to reach tier 1 again. I guess, how... Okay. I don't want to get distracted, but I'm going to get distracted. How is Rescue Ace doing right now? Nobody's playing it really, but as an okay matchup into the meta. Warrior, Invoke, Finger Soul, Light, or yeah. I don't even really see it in, like... Yeah, that's TCG. I'm not seeing that many people playing it over something like Ryzeal and Mitsu. I see a lot of people playing, like, Azamina. Or decent chunk of people. Tier Lament somehow making a comeback. But always being Creed means Azamina Snake Eyes back on the menu. Yeah. Let's see. Someone did get top 8 at the Italy National Championship recently with Snake Eye Azamina. Granted, they were only playing... They were playing Poplar as their only real Snake Eyes card. And Diabel Star. 600 years of Snake Eyes. Like, maybe it's just because it's a best of 1 format. Yeah, I understand that's good for you. That's great for you. I might want to zoom into this Well, no, that wouldn't quite work. I would need to put it, like, here. I need to make it big, but I don't know how big. Okay, why don't I start with the bottom up, actually. 3 SS, 3 Jack in Hand is enough race base cards with Jet Synchron for destruction. Yeah. I will become around because I'm not gonna play it. Yeah, I mean, also, that's like 10 million UR to craft a deck that only might be playable in a best of 1. My girl, Independent Nightingale is on the ban list again. Unfortunate, but you know what? It was kind of inevitable. Like, unless they wanted to, like, pre-hit the like actual cards that Nightingale would do for the FTK, that Nightingale would need for the FTK, they were never gonna hit Nightingale, or they were never gonna hit those cards. So Nightingale was just going to always be collateral. I need to make the neck wider, actually. God. How do I feel like I need to make that placeholder head again. And granted, it's an awkward angle, especially for someone who does such mediocre art. Man, Nightingale's like a fine card. Most of the decks don't make it because you use social material for Ensemble Robin or Recital. Literally any of the Xyz monsters, which the deck is meant to make, you'd rather play over Nightingale. I mean, honestly, that's just what people more or less do in their list. They just make They might just make UDF. They don't really make Nightingale. Nightingale is a SR? Hold on. Yugioh discussion. Nightingale is an SR, but it's a level 1, right? Yeah, it's a level 1. So there is still synergy. Day 1 member. Literalist makes UDF, Ensemble, and some org. Yep. Those were certainly... those were certainly formats of all time. That is still the plays we make today. Need to make... That works, kinda. The deck did not evolve. I mean, depending on how you play it, if you played with the Tri-Brigade stuff, it kinda did. Just not in any ways that really mattered. The only thing that changes, we got a level 1, more level 1s to work with, yeah. More level 1s, either with, or Tri-Brigade plays, really. It's mostly just playing 3 Nerdball. Perhaps in like, Lyrilusk, but in Lyrilusk, especially, some of the links do see play. Some I want to do this actually. I'm gonna need to make the head a lot bigger actually. Ooh, what else is playing? FDK Ghost Trick Lyrilusk? Is that an actual FDK? Yep. Not that big, actually. Oof. Makes Angel of Mischief with 10 materials. Oh, that's funny, at least. That's better. Takes about 25 minutes to perform, so it doesn't really see play in MD, and I imagine it folds to Droll, maybe Imperm or Ash, depending on what your hand is. It probably especially folds to Nibiru. It folds to Droll, folds to Nibiru, folds to a lot of the like popular hand traps of our time. So chances are it can't, like, it could theoretically see play in like the lower ranks. You're fine against Ashen Veiler? Okay. But like a lot of the turn-ending hand traps, I imagine it must get smoked by Dimension Shifter. Loses to Ghost Ogre. That I can imagine. Ghost Bell. Does it lose to a well-timed Ghost Bell? And I also imagine it just gets pummeled into oblivion by, like, any of the decks that play on the opponent's turn. I might need to make this a little bit lower. Absolutely cooks the line that adds materials to Angel. Fair. And Nib kills all your dreams. That I can imagine, yeah. Nib isn't the most popular hand trap nowadays, sure. But people still will play it occasionally. Like, it might see, like, a surge of playability now that Snake Eyes is kind of coming back. Yeah, it's meta dependent. If I wanted to play level 1, just do like Snake Eyes or Drytron, which are just overall better in. Drytron doesn't even need the FDK, which is nice. It just straight up kills the soul. I can imagine. How are people playing the new, like, because I did see Tier Limit is, like, still kind of doing okay when I looked it up. In spite of everything that's been done to the deck and the amount of time that's passed. How did it? Long threads down to the chest. How many on each side? Is it the same on each side? 3. 3. Plus that little hair ornament there. They play it really tierish. Best descriptions you get from me. Gotcha. Then anyway, how are you doing? I'm doing all right. As he goes behind the head. Probably more or less like that, don't I? That'll work. Sorry, I was barely not killing my phone. Oh. Probably want to end up doing that hair ornament there. That's arguably a mistake. That's that's like the shawl. So I add an extra piece here. Not pulling for any of the new cards at the moment. No, I don't care about for hire. If I don't know. Like maybe if I get a royal for hire, I might see about pulling for hire, but I'm also probably just gonna get the bundle and dip. Because the beat make looks really cool. And like I think for hire plays really well, and I like the new support. Problem is I just don't have enough room to play it. mean, it might end up taking Plunder Patrol's spot if I do get said Royal Rare. Because trying to play Plunder Patrol has been... I don't want to say agony. Fire, Rescue, Ace, and Zomberts. Of which are they're definitely cool to see. Also, some of the genres we keep missing. Or generics we keep missing. Yep. Like Mercurium. And like you mentioned, the aforementioned Yummy, Draco Tail, and K9 support. Really strong rank 10 for Yugioh. When left at K9 for needy a UR. We can point and laugh all we want, but inevitably, well, Draco Tail and Yummy got N and R cards respectively. I mean, how important is the new Ripper for K9, actually? Because, like, I've heard it's not even really that good. Which, okay. I guess they had limited spots to put stuff in anyway. And maybe some of the new, like, pumpkin cards didn't perform well enough in the OCG and TCG to warrant that many URs. Not very important, but it sees niche play an extra target with a quick play spell. Fair. Because I know its effect is a lot more niche. It shuffles cards from the graveyard into the deck, which is nice. Oh, you need to go back up. Save now. Regular Fusion is played at 1 in almost every list. Yeah, which is why I'm surprised it wasn't an SR. Like, yeah, it's a best of 1 versus a best of 3. So potentially, and the more popular variant right now is branded Draco Tail, which has a lot tighter of an extra deck. Prevents running out of materials and Shovelback. Negate or pop, yeah. But, which, yeah, it is a best of 1. It's, the extract is a little bit tighter, so having, I'm not going to complain about getting a cheap extra option. But I'm slightly surprised because it does, like, routinely see play. Alright. Thank you for stopping by, Chroma. Eat as much as you need. Okay, next. The next is you. Which, granted, I don't have to draw the neck, which is nice. I was like, man. Still alive when I finish food. They've got an hour. A little bit higher. A little bit higher. the other problem is going to be the hood again, isn't it? How much space is given for... Not a lot. Not a lot of space. Whoop. Let's... Yeah, which, yeah, it's a close-up, so that's only to be expected. Let's put it, like, right there. And it doesn't even really show the top of his head, it just cuts off. Let's go. That's practically the same... Almost the same expression, not quite. I guess we'll also add down here just because. Then oh, this ooh. Oh, this covers the nose. Which, like, I guess it's... This is more of an upward angle, so I can be a little bit looser with that. Both of them are. But let's pare this down a little bit. Like I said, that makes sense because it covers his eyes entirely. That goes... I should also add the marks. Ooh, hold on. I should make... Well, this already starts curving up, like, right here. Not that hard. marks go? How does Odeon go, actually? Odeon. Oh, it's on. Huh. You know, I thought that Odeon only had marks on the one side, and I was right. It's like, so how do I do this then? Do I want to make it semi-accurate to Odeon? I mean, I don't have to now. It also doesn't go all the way to its chin. He goes more or less like that. That's... Does this... It doesn't really have an ending. I mean, it kind of does. Because in actual Odeon, he doesn't go over his ears. It goes down to, like, part way to the chin. Like, almost to the chin. But it wraps around the ear, doesn't go over it. So how do I want to translate that? Like, I don't have to translate it right now. I can just make it go like that. And that'll work. For now. There's also here, which is a problem. I can't see... That might be something that ends up getting fixed later on. I mean, that definitely will. But you can't really see, like, half of the marks after... At least from the way I've drawn it so far. Okay, I do realize... I kind of want to get another drink. So, since I've done with the second, well, the second sketch of man, I'm gonna get another drink. Okay. I can kinda translate. Okay, well. Whoops. I could theoretically copy paste. Well, okay, hang on. It's not exactly the same, is the thing. And I would need to downscale it quite a bit, honestly. This does help expedite it, though. Makes this part a little bit easier. I will want to change the mouth, though. And the eyebrows, actually, for that matter. Like, they're a bit more flat in the original image than they are in this inner second image. They're a bit more flat. Let's also... Granted... Uh-oh. I didn't realize that was like that. Okay. You're a problem, but that can be solved. Alright, well, okay. Let's put that back down to like half. Let's finish this, then I can worry about that. I guess legitimately, the stuff that's hidden by the paint bubble, or the speech bubbles, don't really matter. Because they're hidden by the speech bubbles. They will be a lot easier to look at later on. Okay. And this is a more straight, I guess, shot. So this is a little bit easier to do. Heck, technically, if I wanted to, I could just absolutely copy-paste man into here. And do it like that. I think that would be a bit of a cop-out, though. Actually, it's not. Yeah, it's a bit more angular than I think it is. That. Then. That. Excuse me. Hoping the music hasn't been too disruptive for the most part. This is a bit more straightforward. Then have thing around his neck. Then there's this bottom part of the shawl. Goes like that. These markings here. Finally, the dreads are a little bit. Oops. The actual places they come from are kind of hidden, but I can kind of figure it out. I might need to change. I mean, obviously, this is just the sketch. Okay. That is a start. Next. I'm going to group all of the blue lines together. Okay. Back up with you. Gonna need to do the manga paneling. Oh. Oh, wait, here. I need to make sure that's a little bit more clear. Definitely gonna need to color in. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Make sure that nothing gets left out. I guess you might actually be a little bit better. Evidently it's going to go underneath. Which, as long as it doesn't bleed out. do it like this again. As long as I don't let it bleed out, I should be fine. Oops. Yes, actually, there's a smarter way to do this. That way I can tell when stuff leaks out of it. Oh, did I? Oh, I think I actually filled in the actual manga panel. It's supposed to just the paneling. Or the manga layer. Right. Select. Oops. That is part of it? Huh. That's an unfortunate oversight. Okay. You know what? That's fine. Bird. Wait a second. It's not perfect. But you know what? I forgot I did it like that. I forgot I added it as like an actual filter, like a layer filter, and not just. I added it as a layer filter and not just as like a straight filter. Okay. Now I've got 20 minutes left, give or take. What do I want to start on first? I think the actual hardest parts are going to be man. First, let's say. So you know what? Let's do man. Start with face. And I actually think the chin should be like right here. Let's do this. Let's have this as a I need to make the neck its own separate layer. Or I might want to, at least. Do I have a... I don't have a... Hold on. How does that look? Not the worst. but I feel like that'd be better. I'm gonna add. I'm gonna add the pencil. Or a pencil. This is definitely going to be complex, for sure. So, yeah, that's the thing. Like, yeah, maybe part of his neck is hidden by the... it's not, like, directly under his chin, but the second neckline is, like, here. Problem, that also just straight up looks weird. Like this. Maybe I need to not make it as slanted. Maybe I just make this visible for a second. Man, they were not kidding. Like, drawing a person with their head, like, from, like, the perspective of under their chin is really difficult. Like, absurdly difficult. I might as well just go not try to think about it too much. And at least for now, have it be like that. and flip this back over. Might be able to get done with the outline of the first man now. Maybe not done. It's like that face is going to be my Achilles heel this time around. Up. One more layer for the clothes. Probably 2 more outlines for the clothes, in fact. There's also the golden, that golden hem. Well, let's see, it's like right there. Yeah. Not that big. Not that big of a golden hem. I always hate it when it does that. trying to figure out how to get it back to normal is always a pain. Then let's get the shawl. Let's back up and let's... what's a different brush I could use? Maybe you. Maybe you could work. You could definitely work. Do I want to change? I could just change the angle of this all. I also realize I kind of forgot an important part of this all. That is, like, underneath, in the original panel, underneath his shirt, the Pachita heart beats when he hears the name Chainsaw Man. So in turn, I should just go and... I would need to add something to kind of represent the beating heart, which... my mind, in my mind is the dimensional fissure. I think would be the funniest one. that'll work. Let's do the hood first. I'm gonna rotate this just a little bit. Which might help, which absolutely will help, actually. Now I've got pretty much a straight line from the chin. I can make that the center point of the hood. It's a bit more of a straight shot than that. I'm gonna put this back to normal. Every subtle movement I make posted just over 0. That's okay. That's fine. Make both of those a bit more transparent. I think this is a bit steeper. Like, yeah, the head tilt might be a better... might make it a bit more of an illusion than anything else. Okay, I'm almost out of time. I'm basically out of time already. Try. get at the very least this done. I'm gonna add just a new layer for the back of the hood, just so that I don't mess up the hood. Okay, then how does this kind of go? Ooh, this actually poses an interesting problem. I can't fully get the gold band, can't I? Okay, the obvious answer is just cutting out. That'll work for now. The obvious answer is just cut out the gold band. And, like, make the line significantly thinner. So that it doesn't conflict. Okay. But that is... that is a start. I definitely... I need to come back to this for sure. And I will try my best to fix this man. But unfortunately, kind of just out of time. No ad break from Parlor yet, so let's quickly... And I guess, yeah, I'll... might as well take a little bit of time to show off this, which is kind of supposed to be a very proto version of a VTuber model. Problem is, right now, I don't really understand how lips and how eyelids for VTubers work. So I've kind of just exported this part, or exported this as best I can as just a PNG, and ported it as essentially a new variation of the old model. Eventually, I want to do stuff like add extras to it. But that is not for now. Persistent at rate right now. I dealt too long. The other thing is I kind of want to fudge with this a little bit. I also don't... So, I don't really understand how... Okay, so I have the hat and the back of the hat as really two separate pieces. Okay, maybe I should add, like, cut this little part out, move it to the back, just to make sure it's correct. Like, I don't fully understand how that works. Just think I invested in an S-tier manual. Welcome back, Chroma. Just in time for the very tail end of this stream. As I am gonna talk a little bit about your new manhwa. Oh, I didn't even realize that. I also realized my hat is now covering chat. I need to make this significantly smaller. Yeah, I made the... Where does... Okay, that's better. That's better. You want the old translation of the title or the current one? Current will probably help me... would help people find it better. Child rearing villainess doesn't hide her personality. Okay. As I move on over to the end screen, go ahead and say a little bit about said manhwa. That was the previous title. Okay. The old title was way different. Well, this doesn't hide her true personality from child abusers. I see. I can see how the two can connect. But I will admit, one is a little... I can also understand why... I can understand why people might want to translate that to either be a little bit more accurate or a little bit more soft, especially for the manhwa art audience. Close out of that. Gonna need to bring this out. Who's going right now? Frost is. Okay. Accurate translations ends up being this one. The villainess in the parenting story doesn't hide her true nature. Yeah. All three of those seem to be pretty well related. So I can understand how each translation comes to be, for sure. Who's playing? Monster Hunter Stories 3. Was even not nominated at the Manhwa Awards. Well, that's cool. No one who speaks English, unfortunately. Not a lot of people who speak English. Really hard to find. Oh, it's not on like any like webtoon. Hold on. I guess. Copy this pasta? Oh, copy pasta. Nah. This one. Let's try the villainess in the parenting story doesn't hide her true nature. Okay, I see. Related to only having a fan. Oh, yeah, that's fair. No site has picked it up then. But it is a title that you can view in novel updates. Yeah, I see. I can see that. And I from what I could see from the novel updates description, it's like the villainess is like part of essentially CPS. It's like taking away children from abusive parents, which is nice. That seems like a very solid manhwa. Which shows only the most relevant titles. I imagine there's no, like, fully oh, okay, of course there's no fully legal way to read this. Just don't worry about how I'm reading it. Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you for the recommendation. I don't know if I or anyone else can really read that, but it's good to know that there are some S-tier manhwa out there. That being said, I gotta go. That will be enough from me. Thank you, Chroma, for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. But I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a girl. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. Take care. Oh, yeah. I guess tomorrow, presumably, if I'm able to, will hopefully be Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I'm gonna need to figure that out. It might also be Dynablade and Master Duel stuff kind of mixed together. I'm not sure, but I've got a weekend essentially to figure it out what I want to do. Giving me a lot of Korean stuff to read, which is nice. Xenopod Chronicles. Thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Take care.